Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this No More Noise Toronto meetup, Rogers Stadium Community Catch-up. My name is Ingrid Buday, and I'm founder of No More Noise Toronto. And we are here to learn about how Rogers Stadium has impacted you. And I'm also going to do a bit of sharing about our campaign, how this came to be, and then we're going to have a discussion. No More Noise Toronto, we're a grassroots organization that is now just officially incorporated as a federal not-for-profit. We're focused on the noises that wake us up, keep us up, and disturb us day and night. We're a grassroots organization. We've grown to over 1,600 supporters, 100 like in the last couple of weeks. We're data and process oriented, which has made us a little bit different from other organizations. And we're engaged in the civic process at City Hall. And so our approach has led to collaborative discussions with 4 city divisions, including MLS, the police, Toronto Public Health, and Toronto at Your Service, which is 311, how noise reports are made. And we also collaborate with other like-minded organizations such as Civic Tech Toronto, Esri Canada, which is all the mapping that we do, University of Toronto, Toronto Metropolitan University, Gasbusters, who are the leaf blower people, and Quiet Communities in the USA, and others. So how did we get to be involved? Well, residents reached out to us and they asked about how we can work together on engaging residents. Often, people don't know what to do. And so that was one of the first requests, is to make sure that people understood what to do when and if the stadium impacted their lives and the noise especially. They also felt that the stadium was forced upon the residents, that there wasn't adequate community engagement or equally distributed community engagement. And that any community meetings that were there were possibly not transparent and misleading. And why else? There's concerts on weeknights. And, while they end at 11, many people are trying to put their kids to bed at 8 o'clock, or they themselves are early risers and want to be able to go to sleep at 9 so that they are ready for the next day. And concerts on weeknights do not support that. And the goal was to educate people about what they can do if the sound bothered them. So, just as of today, I heard a lot about System of a Down last night, and 85 emails were sent as of today. And just yesterday, we were at like the 68 number. So a lot of new ones today. And so when people sent an email, it went to Councillor Pasternak, Mayor Chow, MP Roman Baber, MPP Michael Kersner, Municipal Licensing and Standards, Live Nation, Rogers, us, No More Noise Toronto, and your own councillor if your postal code was entered. And so this was an email campaign, and this is part of the software platform that No More Noise Toronto uses in order to make our voice be heard. And what I've learned is that when you land emails in people's inboxes, they tend to listen. And so this is one of the ways that we use to make sure that your voice is heard. So one of the other things that we wanted to do was do a sound level study. And this goes back to the data-centered approach. I am more impacted by motor vehicle noise. And when that really got bad during the pandemic, I started researching sound. And Toronto Public Health has a report called How Loud is Too Loud. And they talked about averages, average sound levels. We don't live with an average. I don't live with an average. And so that's where that didn't ring true for me in my lived experience and how noise impacts me at my bedroom window. And so I bought a sound level meter and I started measuring. And what you see behind me is those noise spikes. And no average. Those are the things that wake me up, keep me up, and disturb me day and night. So that's the kind of data that we're starting to look at. And so we have, as you can see around here, there are 4 different locations, and I'm measuring in dBA and dBc. And I'm not going to get into the details on that, but dBA is more of what we hear, what we can hear. It's attuned to the people's hearing. And dBc is more that low bass, those lower frequencies that we can feel. And I've heard from a lot of you that that's been the issue. An acoustical engineer will actually review the data and create a report, and we've got that ball rolling already. And I'm going to start to present the results at the Downsview Library at 1 p.m. on September 17th. And I probably should have added that I'm also going to do an online session on September 18th at 7 p.m. on Thursday. So make sure you check out our events page, and all of those details are there. And thank you to those who are maybe on this call who facilitated the sound level study locations. Much appreciated. Okay, so now we're going to go to the Mentimeter. And again, the Mentimeter is a way that we can anonymously gather information. Each participant is assigned a number, so I get an Excel spreadsheet as an output, and there's a number. I have no way of knowing who you are unless you put your name in anywhere else. And then all answers are attributed to that number. And so at the very end, this helps us understand how the stadium has impacted your life. And I'm going to keep the survey open until midnight on September 15th so that it can help inform our report. But the other thing that I ask in here is about location, and I'm asking for your nearest intersection. So I don't want to know your home. I don't want to know anything like that, but you can give me an intersection that is comfortable for you, so that we can get an idea of the distribution. And then all of the answers that you've given before then will help us kind of start to dial in. Oh, this is what happened in this area, and that's what happened in that area. Okay. So that's how that looks. So I am now going to bring over my Mentimeter. Okay, so first what I'd like to know is, how did the stadium impact you? And this is where we start to see the live responses, and I find this just so incredibly interesting. And if anybody that's attending here submitted your responses before this session, I, out of habit, cleared the responses before I started. So if you entered responses from the email that I sent, my biggest and deepest apologies. Please do it again. You should be able to. Okay, so far we've got 6 people that are engaged in this, which is just fine. 2 somewhat quite a, and 2 quite a bit. Okay. So what words describe the stadium's impact on your life? So this is where you have 25 characters per entry, and you can submit multiple entries, and you are able to go back and add to this. So if you haven't done this yet, that is just fine. We can go back, and then I will end up sharing these results as a PDF or something like that. So again, if you don't, I'm going to see 7 people have now joined. So I'm just going to go back and share. Now you have a bit of a better idea. I'm just going to share the QR code one more time in case people now want to join. Excellent. I now see 8 people in there, so that's great. Okay. All right. So again, how did the stadium impact you? Here we go. 4, quite a bit. Initially, I didn't have quite a bit. I said it wreaked havoc, but I thought, well, that's not necessarily politically correct, so I'll make that a little bit better. So what words describe the stadium's impact on your life? And so this is a word cloud. So the loudest, or the most common word is the biggest, right? So here we go. Sleep deprived, vibrational, disruptive, loud. Awesome. Thank you for participating. And how did you have to accommodate the venue and concerts? Close windows, you had to go inside the house, you had to use earplugs, you couldn't accommodate. Okay, what I've heard, and I'm just going to give some suggestions here. What I've heard is that leave house, sleep at cottage. People also had to adjust their daily routines. You couldn't necessarily go shopping when you needed to. The parking lots were full or the road was closed. Go into the basement. There you go. Yeah. And lucky enough for some people, you can leave the house and sleep at the cottage. I'm lucky enough, I'm able to leave Toronto. But what if you can't? And that's the thing, is so many people can't. And there you go. Another can't accommodate. Okay. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. So rank the concerts. So I've got 2 slides of this. One is the June and July concerts, and then the next slide is the August and September concerts. I couldn't put enough items on one page, so I had to split it into 2. So it seems like Coldplay and Blackpink were the Tuesday was the loudest. Okay, excellent. And Oasis, okay. All right. Was the loudest there. I heard about the crowd singing along. And System of a Down, Friday. Yeah. Lots of responses from yesterday. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So did your house or windows vibrate? So the vibration comes from low frequency bass. And vibrations, I've learned from the acoustical engineer, actually go through the ground. And so that's why they go through concrete, through glass, they travel a long distance. And so this is something that, you were in before. How did you accommodate while you put in earplugs? How can we accommodate for vibration? There is actually no way to ignore a vibration. And so this is the piece that I really want to pull out for people, because try and sleep to a vibration. It doesn't work, right? But it doesn't impact everybody all the same. So, but 5 of you say yes, you had vibrations. Okay. 6 now, and 2 no, and 0 don't remember. Okay. Next question. Ah, did you or a family member lose sleep this summer due to concerts? And you see, this is something that really annoys me about how we understand the economics of our city. And this is where, so I live down in the southern end of the city. And when they were talking about the gardener and revamping the gardener, they knew how much it costs for people to sit in traffic. They know how much that costs. Well, how much does sleep cost our economy? And how much does it cost us individually? And this is the part that sleep is where our memories get recollected. It's where our bodies heal. It's where we actually can rest and restore for our neurons. Whoops, I went ahead there. And so sleep is so incredibly important. And this is what I really want to highlight in here as well. So thank you for that. 5 of you. I'm so sorry. So, were you or another family member at a reduced capacity the day after some or all of the concerts? I used to work in HR, and they talk about presenteeism. Yeah, you show up, but are you functional? Or if you are have to if you've got young kids at home, how is your patience level? The next day. I know when I don't get a good sleep, I'm a little cranky the next day. So, okay, 5 of you. Well, and then there's 2 somewhat and 1 no. Okay. So, what caused the most disturbance? All right. So, this is where I was trying to tease out a little bit more. Is it the loudness, traffic noise? Because I do understand that for some areas there's a lot of noise after the concerts. Music, vibration, people being loud. I heard about that more in the media about, people calling for Ubers. And there was another article. No, this wasn't an article. So No More Noise is also a part of the external working group for the night economy for the city. So yesterday we had a meeting, and they were talking about that alcohol was being sold illegally around the concert. I don't know if any of you saw or heard any of that, but that would certainly contribute to people being loud if they've consumed more alcohol than they should, or more alcohol at the stadium. And we all know what loud drunk people sound like. It's no fun. So, anyways, it didn't apply to any of you, so that's just fine. Okay, so what bothered you? It's the bass. What bothered you most about the disturbing sound noise? Yes, so it's the bass. Absolutely. Vibrations, bass and traveling bands, sleep, traveling sound, lack of sleep. Yeah, loudness, vibrations. No relaxation at night. Vibration makes me crazy. I hear you. Tossing and turning. Yeah, try and sleep with that, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so this is now to understand actions that you may have taken to share your opinion. Did you make 1 or more noise complaints to the city for amplified sound? 5 of you, yes. Awesome. 1 no, and 0 tried. Okay, because sometimes people try and they just give up. So, but congratulations to the 6 of you that made it through the whole process or made a phone call to 311, which is actually one of the best ways to make a noise complaint. And okay. If so, were they overall handled to your satisfaction? No resounding yeses. I kind of felt that way as well. Okay, there we go. Well, I think MLS has some work to do, and 311 has work to do as well. So did you contact Counselor Pasternak? Well, 80, however, whatever the number is, have inadvertently through the emails, but 4 yes, 4 no. And did you get an adequate response? 1 yes, 3 no's, and 4 didn't contact the counselor. Makes sense. Okay. All right. So this is now where we're going to go into solutions. So what are some solutions that we have? Well, there's overall sound level limiters that could be placed on the amplification equipment. They can be set to a certain decibel level. And then there also is a way to specifically reduce the bass frequencies through equalization or multiband limiters. Additional noise barriers could also be installed around the stadium. My understanding is that there was one installed around the Ancaster area, but not in other areas. So we need to work on that. No exceptions to ending the show right at 11 p.m. So I understand System of a Down played until midnight last night. So Councillor Pasternak has to sign off on every single noise exemption. And I'm curious if that one was a noise exemption till midnight. That's not what I think what you all signed up for. But anyways, a solution would be to not end the shows all at 11 p.m. And I've heard in some places where they actually like pull the plug, done, so maybe that's what needs to happen. And also not having concerts early in the week, and even really how many people still work on a Friday. So there really shouldn't even be a concert on a Thursday night. But for many, I work with amplified sound issues across the city, and for many people, the issues start on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then if it's a long weekend, it continues into Sunday. So the other thing that can be done is area sound level monitoring, and I've got a picture of one here, and this is I have someone who is joined No More Noise Toronto, and they are well versed in city infrastructure and technology and smart cities. And so this image here is of a microsensor, a noise sensor, and it's not much bigger than a cell phone, and it sits on top of a light post. And so it has power and it has Wi-Fi and it can broadcast sound levels. So no conversation, but sound levels directly to municipal licensing and standards and directly to a bylaw officer that may be on site or in the area. So the idea with this is that if there's festivals or concerts such as this, that around the stadium, we place these. And so that the city immediately knows what kind of sound levels are coming from Rogers Stadium. They could also be placed in some neighborhoods so that we could see what happens in the Ancaster community. What do the condos at Yonge or at Allen and Shepherd actually go through? How loud is it there? And the other thing that I want to mention that isn't on this list is to be very clear about where the area, where the bylaw officers are measuring from. So it shouldn't be any one of your homes. It should be from the property line of the noise creating venue. So in this case, Rogers Stadium or a nightclub or a patio, an outdoor patio, because they are the noise source. And so this is where if these area sound level monitors were placed on or very close to that property line, then that should actually eliminate the need for residents to complain and start the enforcement process. It should be an automatic. And so that's one of the ways that the process could be made more efficient and bylaw officers' time is used more wisely. Okay, so what could make it better for next year? I'm curious what you think. Oh, look at these. Lots of ideas. Stop concerts earlier. No heavy metal, no heavy metal bands, lower volume, one per week. Install a roof. Yeah. It's fine now. Okay. Get rid of it. Muffle low bass DBC. Traffic agents. Yeah. Stadium must go. Lower sound allowance. Close the stadium. Well, a lot of people do. You don't want it at all. Stop shows altogether. Okay. Adhere to sound curfew. Stop concerts earlier. Okay. We will take those all into consideration. And how can this venue impact your life less? Sound barriers. Shutting it down. More noise barriers, get rid of it, get rid of it. Don't know, less sound. Concerts weekend only. Okay, I appreciate your input on this. And so here we go. So this was where I wanted to allow a little bit more time for you and a little bit more characters if you wanted to to add some more. Okay, so there's two more questions. that are coming up after. Oh, yeah. What do you want the counselor to do for next year? Enforce the bylaw, reduce my house tax. Okay. Relocate the stadium. Nothing. Okay. That's all valid. Okay. And my last one. So I know that they've given us they've given an invite to you for your to the Fan Appreciation Day. Um, And that's this upcoming thank you event is absolutely ridiculous. They cannot remove noise exemption permit or revise it. And that's actually a very good comment in there because this noise exemption permit is the same permit that is used for festivals, one or two, outdoor festivals, outdoor concert tickets, or outdoor concerts that are of a smaller scale. This scale is absolutely miles and far and away a way bigger application of the same tool of these noise exemption permits, and so it should actually and the money that they pay for these noise exemption permits is peanuts compared to what they've made from this profit, made from the concerts. So there's another consideration. And free tickets, reduce my tax. They cannot follow the bylaws. Give us free tickets to a concert of our choice. Okay, interesting. All right, thank you. Okay, and so I'm not going to show the next two questions, the answers to the next two questions, but I just want to share with you that, as you saw with the sound level study, we are looking at the different areas around Rogers Stadium. And so this is where having your closest intersection that's comfortable for you to state will help us immensely because now you can see with the line of questioning, especially around how it impacted you and what bothered you most, we'll be able to see kind of, what areas got affected and how as well. Now, there's a million other questions I could ask. I could ask all of those questions per concert, but I'm not going to. So anyways, so that's where I wanted to allow you also to have to put, enter your location, but also enter comments. You have 200 characters and just feel free form. What do you think? What do you think would help, or what are your comments in that? And then, as I said, as it says on the slide, I'm going to pop all of those into a Word document, put them into Chat GPT, and we'll see what themes come out of those. There we are. So, what this was very much about was a community engagement pilot. I wanted to see what happens when a community like this is impacted by noise. And there's other examples of this. So, for example, in Humber Bay Shores, there's an area called, well, Humber Bay Shores, and they've got a road called Marine Parade. And the modified vehicles and the drivers of those modified vehicles love to parade up and down that area. Well, they would really like to make that a residential community. That would be another example of a community engagement where we can learn about how to engage people because it's about you and it's about your community. So I am continuously learning about sound and noise and the impact on people, and every community is different. So your local engagement is critical. And what we're doing is we're looking to create toolkits to help people understand what they can do. And one of the biggest things is to find, I call it a place that is comfortable for people to act. And for some people, that's just watching and listening. For other people, they want to go and they want to speak to committee, and there's a whole spectrum there. And so the idea is to help people understand what they can do and find a place that's comfortable for them to do something, because nothing changes unless somebody does something. So this is where I'm working together with others to design the materials, understanding the benefits of working together, and how we can make changes one neighborhood at a time. And this is, I mean, Rogers Stadium has gotten all kinds of press. And so you are very much that very first spark of what community engagement could look like for noise mitigation. Again, here's those Mentimeter instructions. The survey will be open until midnight, until September 15th, and then we'll wrap that up into the results. And so I'm going to wrap up here and then we'll go into discussion. But please visit our website, nomoreNoiseToronto.com. Check out our events. We have we have the Downs View on September 17th, and then on September 18th, I will be doing an online presentation of the results. We have working groups for amplified sound and motor vehicle noise. Noise News is our newsletter. The latest edition just went out. And of course, we thrive by donation. So there's QR codes for all of those things. And finally, what we really want is to create better cities by reducing noise.